cloudy skies in the afternoon with a thunderstorm and a high of 89 to 93. Then Friday, look for a mix of clouds and sunshine with a thunderstorm around in the afternoon, high 89 to 91. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Join Gary and Don Crawford of Pinnacle Retirement Advisors for Retirement with Pinnacle, Saturday mornings at 9 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Don't miss Retirement with Pinnacle with Gary and Don Crawford, Saturday mornings at 9. Firm offers insurance services. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
This hour of Ocala Talks is brought to you in part by Blockers Furniture. Go see all their specials at blockersfurniture.com.
This is Ocala Talks with Tom Schmidt, bringing stories that are important to our community in and around Ocala. Plus, of course, a splash of sports as well. Now, here's your host, Tom.
Good Wednesday morning. Welcome to Ocala Talks on a somber Wednesday, as all of us should turn an eye towards Texas with a sad heart as 19 children and 2 adults lost their lives in a senseless shooting yesterday. From all indications, the gunman was being pursued by the police, went into an elementary school, and the rest we know from news reports and all. 19 children and 2 adults were shot and killed before the gunman was killed by police. Galen, you join us, as you do always, brought to you by the good folks at Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, just shipped, and Penn Flooring. I know that these kind of situations strike close to home for you because when any kind of tragedy like this happens or massacre like this happens, especially if it happened in our area, the first thing to do they would try to save lives, and saves lives means that we need blood. Good morning.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, Tom. We're part of something called BERDA, and it's an emergency response. So when you have whatever it is, any kind of a tragedy, and blood is needed, then blood centers from all across the country send blood into the area as quickly as possible. So I know last night we sent a few units into the Texas area, and I don't know if that was to backfill what was used there or not. It's still too early to tell, but I know we got the call to activate that yesterday afternoon.
Overshadowed in all this was there was a bad accident yesterday south of here, between here and the villages, with a bus of special needs students and a couple adults. One adult was ejected from the vehicle and subsequently died on the scene. Some of the children were in critical condition last night, so that's kind of a double whammy for y'all at the blood center.
Yeah. Well, again, I don't have a lot of information. I know they were transported and handled by some trauma centers, but I don't have any specific information. So I again, as we talk about every morning, that's both of these are examples of why you have to have the blood on the shelf before an event like this happens, and it takes 24 hours to process and to test the blood, and then it probably takes about another 12 hours before it gets actually delivered to the hospital. So that blood has to be there when it's needed, and thank you to everybody who's donated blood. And if you haven't donated blood yet, today's a good day to do it.
Before we get into the Texas tragedy, the tragedy that happened down in Summerfield or in that area on 441, where the children were hurt. One of the the teaching assistants on the special needs bus was ejected and was pronounced dead on the scene. I'm going to say something here that I don't. If people don't like it, that's a you problem, not a me problem. But I was looking at social media last night, and this is one of the problems of social media. Is I was looking at social media last night, And this tragedy was put on a couple of the so-called Facebook pages that call themselves news pages. You know the ones I'm talking about, Galen, that they're really just salacious, trying to get you to click, but they call themselves news-oriented Facebook pages and everything. And lo and behold, one of these places, and I'll call about it, Florida Police Scanner, the Facebook page. They, right there, the front, pinned to the top so they could get everybody's interest and everything, I guess, was the picture of the bus up on jacks to get it off the car that it had landed on top of, and the body covered up with its foot and arm extended out from underneath the sheeting. And that was the picture they put to describe the wreck and everything. How just distasteful and inconsiderate is that of that whoever runs that social media page?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. That's the first image I saw of it, and I was like, oh man. I believe in transparency, but at the same time, you can tell that story. You could share everything that happened without dehumanizing this person and their family and the tragedy that it was. You don't need that. You just don't. You could show I don't know. I didn't like that at all. And by the way, I think it's still out there on social media.
It is. The webmaster, whoever you want to say, the moron or whatever you want to call him, that runs the page goes, it's newsworthy. It's not coming down.
It's not. It's not. I agree the crash itself is newsworthy. I mean,
But there are numerous pictures that show the crash without showing the body covered up with a blanket in the middle of the road.
That's right.
While the investigation is going on.
You're absolutely right. And I don't know. And again, I'm not saying these photos shouldn't exist. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be used in the law and to help to determine exactly.
Of course.
But it doesn't mean, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be public, right? But at the same time, you don't need to publish them.
No.
There's a difference between having something that's public and then being published, right? And again, have a little decorum, have a little class.
Well, I have crime
scene. A little sympathy for the family.
I have crime scene photos of when my father was murdered in Jacksonville. I've seen them. They're in a safety deposit box. Neither one of my sisters have any desire to see them. My mom said when she passed away, I was the executor. She said, do with them what you will. So I've seen them, but it's not some. And by the way, they were part of a public trial, public record, and everything. They've never been published because what's the need? And that's the problem here.
That's correct.
What's the need for this picture to be out there? Show me probative value of what you can explain to me that you couldn't explain to me in words. That picture needed to be there. A lady was ejected, and she passed away. You can put that in writing. I didn't need to see the photo. It's wrong, it's distasteful, and it's damn disrespectful.
That's right. And this isn't to, there's been some photos that have changed the world, right? Whether it was
this isn't a Hindu priest. This isn't a Tibetan priest setting himself on fire.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's right. I mean, again, there is no. And again, I think you said it best. I question this person's value, and I'll bet you in the back of his mind is like, oh no, this is just surely to get clicks.
No, here's how he defended it. He said, I grew up. He said, I grew up at an age where we saw Viet Cong dead on the TV every night. Thank you, Walter Cronkite, for bringing me the news. I'm upholding the morals and the respectability of Walter Cronkite. Shut the hell up.
Okay. I don't. I don't know. That's just an offensive retort.
It is.
I don't know quite how to. It's hard to compare a war zone to a traffic accident.
Yeah, you can't. And here's the thing. I usually don't get caught up in these Twitter arguments, these Facebook arguments. I said, I just sent him a personal message, not in public, sent him a personal message along the lines of, hopefully one day you and I can meet and have a conversation about this.
Sure. Sure.
He goes,
Yeah.
he sends me back, that sounds threatening. I said, take it how you will.
There you go. That's exactly right. I
If it ends up like
Yeah,
if it ends up like a situation at a United Airlines check-in stand in New Jersey, so be it.
oh my gosh, I saw that. Yeah. Talking about a dude who deserved to be punched.
I mean,
But yeah, I think it's a tragedy, and that's a terrible time for him to pile on, and that's what this news site has done. Because, and let's be clear, in today's day and age, once something like that gets posted over and over again,
it's not going away. It can't go away.
Right. Well, what if that's used as a meme in 2 years?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just so debasing. I hate it. I hate it.
It is not a good look, and one that I felt I had to publicly say something about. We got to take a break.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
We'll have to take a break. We'll be back. We will get into what happened, the tragedy that happened in Texas yesterday, and something that angered me not more than the tragedy itself, but it piled on top. It put anger on top of anger. I'll tell you what that is next. On Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, says WOCA, The Source.
Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
You don't get to be the league's all-time leading rusher without feeling some pain.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith knows joint pain, and he also knows the old treatments aren't the only treatments. Today, there's a natural alternative to drugs and surgery. It's biologic therapies from QC Kinetics.
I'm talking regenerative solutions that encourage your body to heal and repair itself.
Do you have pain in your hips, knees, shoulder, lower back? Want to get your life back? The local medical professionals at QC Kinetics can help.
Call to learn more about this exciting natural way to deal with chronic joint pain.
Don't put it off. Call QC Kinetics. Restorative, regenerative solutions with no downtime and lasting results.
Don't let your joint pain keep you from doing the things you love. There's a new natural solution that patients are raving about.
QC Kinetics.
Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics, 400-4550.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
Nirvana, Ocala's premier medical spa, is leading the way in great skin with all the newest in treatment options, offering prejuvenation for younger clients and rejuvenation for all ages. Nirvana knows you want to look your very best. We want you to look like you, just better, brighter and younger, with all the newest and best in technology and all in the most beautiful surroundings. Like Nirvana Medical Spa on Facebook and find them on the web at nirvanamedicalspa.com. Become a better, brighter and younger you.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. On a Wednesday, a somber Wednesday, as We now know 19 children and 2 teachers at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, aren't with us anymore. A gunman went into the school yesterday armed with a handgun and a assault-type rifle is what they're saying in the news. Although I don't know what an assault-type rifle is. A wood-grained hunting rifle with the right clip in it can kill just as many people as a AR-15 can. So I don't know what the distinction is. Galen, maybe you can help me. Do you see do you understand the distinction there? I don't seem to understand. One look, it's like a pickup truck's more dangerous than a station wagon. No, they're not. It depends on who's driving them.
Well, and again, and I've said this before. First of all, this is a tragedy,
yes.
and to me, it's more about mental illness. The fact that an 18-year-old is in a position where he feels that the only recourse in his life is to go into a school and just open fire. Now, were there law enforcement chasing him? If so, why? I've heard reports that he killed his grandmother.
He shot his grandmother and killed her before this, according to news reports.
And he crashed into the school, entered the school, and just opened fire. I know he had a handgun. It's not legal for an 18-year-old to have a handgun in the state of Texas. I don't know. I'm a Second Amendment guy.
Me too.
And I believe you have a right to have a gun. But to me, this is more about mental illness and, more importantly, mental wellness than it is for anything else. I'm experiencing this all the time. It's just
here's what.
And we're going to try to explain it, right? People are going to try to explain it, and they're going to look for blame. But it could have been a shotgun, right? As I said, what the biggest fear for me when we had the incident at Forest High School was the fact that the kid had a shotgun.
Right.
It's a shotgun.
It sprays.
It would have hurt a whole lot more people.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this one hurts. I think they all hurt. And you know what? That's okay. I think it's okay. It should hurt. We shouldn't become so crass as a society that we don't feel this. But at the same time, we've got to get a handle on what happened in this kid's life to put him in this position so that his only recourse against this world is to go into a school and just open fire.
Yeah, the mental issue of this has definitely got to be looked into. But I when I first heard about this, I go, are you kidding me? I mean, why? That was my first question, why? And then I got angry. But I didn't get so much angry at the situation. It's a sad situation. 19 children, 2 adults, senselessly taken from their loved ones. Obviously, a mentally deranged human being did this. You don't kill 19 kids just arbitrarily if you're not mentally deranged. So there's some mental issues going on there. So it's more sad that I feel than anger at the situation in Texas. My anger is within minutes. I mean within minutes. Politicians, news media, warriors on the internet, everybody. Nobody cared about the mourning of these families. Nobody cared about that there needs to be, a process where people have to, come out of the shock of it and everything. It immediately, within minutes, became a politicized football that the pundits could then argue for or against gun control. They could argue for or against a myriad of other things that are related to gun control. Can we tap the brakes a little bit? Can we be shocked and can we mourn and can we, have sadness for the victims before we just all of a sudden make this, it's election year, time to politicize all this. I mean, where's the come togetherness? Where's the, we need to as a group mourn and feel sadness and why do we have to go to politics within minutes? It aggravates me to no end, Galen.
Yeah, and I think I think that's a big part of this. again, to me, I really want to focus on the mental side because I think we're doing some of these kids such a huge disservice during their time in high school, and we know nothing about this young man yet, right? We truly don't, and so you don't want to judge. You don't want to. What he did was absolutely deplorable. I'm not apologizing for him. We need to. I think as a society, we need to understand how we created this kid. Right? What pressures were put on him? What put this individual in this state? We need to analyze. And again, I agree with it. I think everybody runs to their corner, whichever side of the corner they're on, and then just starts chirping from the parapets. And yeah, I think that's what happens.
Yeah, it's that's the issue is they forget that there were 19 families that were destroyed because their children are dead. They forget there were 2 other families destroyed because the adult members of that family are dead. They forget that, have no remorse for the gunman, okay? Whether you have remorse or not for him, that's up to you. But his family, you don't know the family situation. He shot his grandmother, allegedly. What was going on there, There's just so many more things that we could do as a society to help a situation or to try to bring some solace to a situation instead of saying, time to jump on the news and politicize this. Better get our experts in line so we can talk about this ad nauseum about how guns kill people and, how we're a horrible society and everything. And damn that 19 children and 2 adults got killed. That just furthers along our political agenda. That, at least we got that to further our political agenda. It almost feels like the powers that be that want to argue about gun control or non-gun control kind of look forward to these kind of situations so that they can do exactly, so they can put their machines in overdrive and go like they did yesterday. It was sickening to see how quick this was about politics and not about 19 young victims and 2 adult victims that senselessly lost their lives. It was appalling to me how quick the media, which I'm a member of, just and politicians and the like, just within minutes politicized this. It was sickening.
Well, and again, I know everybody's attacking the Second Amendment, but again, and the argument they use is, safety over security, right? Safety and security.
I am safe when I'm secure.
That's what. Well, this is what they're talking about. This is what we've got to make our children safe. And to me, the argument is a good guy with a gun ended this. A bad guy with a gun started it.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. But a good guy with a gun ended it. And
but if we'd had a good guy or a girl with a notepad and the ability to counsel this young man and maybe have caught this before he got to this point through psychiatric evaluations and everything,
sure.
We forget that a bad guy started, a good guy ended it. But is this really the way it had to end? I mean, this kid, by indications coming out so far, kid was a loner. He had been bullied and all in school. And it's all the typical stuff you're going to hear that you're hearing coming out so far. Who missed all the signs? Where are the professionals that missed all the signs?
And again, we also know that I haven't quite figured out when he graduated from high school.
He was still, according to the story I read this morning, he was actually a senior at Uvalde High School. But he was an 18-year-old senior.
Yeah, and again, my son is an 18-year-old kid, and he's going to graduate June 4th.
Right.
So, I mean, I get it. This kind of hits home, and this is such a weird time for kids right now because there's so much pressure put on them because for the first time in their life, they have to make a decision as to what I do next. Like, what am I going to do? And by the way, every human being they encounter, what are you going to do next? What are you unintentionally applying pressure? So this, I don't know this person's situation. I do know that most of the high school counselors are seeing far too many kids.
Yep.
You know, when there's one guidance counselor for 500 kids.
That's a problem. We got to take a break. We'll be back more on the other side. You're listening to Ocala Talks on WOCA, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
The president and I are monitoring the situation closely. So while we don't know all the details yet, we do know that there are parents who have lost children, families that have lost children, and their loved ones, of course, and many others who may have been injured.
Vice President Kamala Harris in Washington Tuesday. An 18-year-old being pursued by police entered an unlocked elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, and killed 19 children and 2 adults before a Border Patrol agent shot and killed the suspect, Salvador Ramos. Ukraine's President Zelensky said Wednesday that Russia must pull back to its pre-war position as a first step before diplomatic talks can begin. Should be noted that Moscow is unlikely to agree to that anytime soon. USA Radio News.
Whether you're working from home, an office, or both, Staples has your tech.
A powerful PC that'll help me deliver the perfect presentation.
Staples has your tech.
How about wireless headphones so I'm not tied to my desk?
A second monitor that'll make multitasking manageable?
Staples has you covered with tech solutions and accessories, from the latest laptops to networking solutions. And now, save up to $260 on select PCs. The latest tech solutions are at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 5/28. In-store only. Limit 2 while supplies last.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
That new doctor is drop dead gorgeous.
Please, he's just another Ivy League educated surgeon with good hair.
No, he's different.
Nurses, we got a Class C motorhome with a detached driver's side mirror. Meet me in the OR. Stat.
Right away, doctor.
No, she's on break. I'll handle this one.
Oh, you conniving little...
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
It's Blockers Furniture Memorial Sale going on the entire month of May. Beautiful two-piece sectional starting as low as $19 per month. Sofas for as little as $10 per month. Kick back in a new recliner for as little as $11 per month. Plus, you can save up to $700 off the Ashley Reeling Queen Bed and Dresser Mirror Set. And save 25% off all outdoor furniture. Mattresses starting at only $3.99. See it, buy it, take it home. It's Blockers Furniture Memorial Sale going on the entire month of May. Blockers Furniture, 2402 Southwest College Road, Ocala.
The Golden Spoon Diner and Seafood New York Style Diner. Our breakfast special, 2 eggs, hash browns, or home fries, toast and coffee included, just $4.49, 7 to 9 a.m. Try our all-you-can-eat fried catfish dinner. We also have mahi-mahi and grouper, all with 2 sides. Our prime rib dinner is available Thursday through Sunday after 4 p.m. Wow, how about our wings? 10 for $12.99. Say you heard the WOCA and receive 10% off. Dine in and carry out. The Golden Spoon Diner, located in the Heathbrook Plaza. Call 352-300-3999.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
Hey there, Congresswoman Kat Kamak here, your conservative voice in our nation's capital. I'm so proud to be an advocate for the over 65,000 veterans here in North Central Florida. The new Ocala VA Clinic is now open, providing important primary care and specialty services. If you're a veteran in the Ocala area, thank you for your service. Feel free to get in touch with our team by visiting us online at camac.house.gov. I'm Kat Kamak, and it is my honor to serve you.
This ad is paid for by official funds authorized by the U.S. House of Representatives.
Bumpin' Brave and Bold, the Orlando International Fringe Theater Festival is back May 17th through the 30th with over 200 shows. This unique cultural experience is held at Lock Haven Park. 2022 brings new and exciting features to the Orlando Fringe. You don't want to miss out. Tickets are available at orlandofringe.org. Again, May 17th through the 30th is the 31st Orlando Fringe, and it's sure to be the best yet. Get your tickets at orlandofringe.org. Arnett House is giving away $10,000 on May 31st. Get your ticket and more information at arnetthouse.org. Do not have to be present to win.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Wednesday, the day after a mass shooting in Texas killed 19 elementary-age students and 2 adults. Galen Unall from Nice South joins us. He does every day, brought to you by the good folks at Penn Flooring, Just Shipped, and Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center. Galen, just a couple of texts over the while we were on the break. One person texted in, there's no help out there for people in this country. Places like the centers hold them for 3 days, then they have to let them out. It's terrible that there's no help for the mental illness. That's what we've been talking about. Another listener writes, why does everything get blamed on a political party? That would be great if it were true, but it's not. It's a societal problem. Mental illness, lack of health care in our country for children and adults who need it, mostly for mental health, kids and young adults who have no coping skills, accountability, or punishment. Most kids have no parental guidance or influence in their lives. It's time to be proactive rather than reactive. It's a matter of life and death. What cost is too high if it saves the lives of innocent children? It's just a couple of texts that have come in, and I agree with both of those. It's just like you said, this is not a gun control or gun issue or Second Amendment issue. To me, this is being proactive through mental illness and help for the mentally challenged. That's where the answers are going to come from.
Well, and again, I think they nailed it. Also, one of the issues, Tom, is this is when, right around this age is when mental illness starts to show itself, right? Between the ages of
18 to 24, yeah, that's where schizophrenia comes in, all that, yeah.
Absolutely, and sometimes it can be an instantaneous change. You can see a kid and say, gosh, that kid has got everything going for him. 6 months later, 3 months later, you don't even recognize
had a break, mental break, and you don't even recognize him.
Right, and again, that's I know we're just laying it all at the hands of the feet of mental illness, and I'm not trying to make it a scapegoat in any stretch of the imagination. But as a society, we have to figure this out. And I do mean as a society. I'm very much a personal freedom guy, but I don't know if maybe you get a psych eval of some kind if you're in high school, some point in your high school career, right? Maybe your senior year, everybody gets a psych eval. I don't know. I think that's a more obvious solution than eliminating the Second Amendment, which is just never going to happen, right?
Right.
I don't know. And by the way, gun control doesn't work. If he had a handgun, he obtained it illegally. Right? I do understand he went and bought 2 ARs at the age of 18. Okay. Maybe I'd be willing to have them do them. Maybe they do a psych analysis, a psych eval before you buy a gun. We could talk about that. It's not that we're against it. I don't know. I think you need if the schools want to do what they want to do, right, which is push all kinds of agendas on us, why can't they do more mental wellness?
It seems to me that there's got to be answers out there, and we don't look for answers. We just look for argument points, and that's an issue.
This whole thing, and they're dead on about you go to the centers for 3 days, then you're discharged, and that's it. And this happened to one of the players I coach. He went to the centers for 3 days, was released, and now he's in jail. I couldn't personally help him. I could not get through to him, and he didn't really think he had any other problems, even though it was really evident if you spent more than 5 minutes with the kid. Thankfully, he didn't hurt himself or anybody else, but this is a real problem, and we've got to figure it out as a culture and as a society.
Well, and
I think it's important, and I think it's important that more and more people who are facing these issues talk about it, and we make it okay to have.
Right, that's the issue. Because in a lot of family situations, I know coming from the Latin background, the Italian background, and everything, I know that machismo, we're not meant. It was a whole thing made about how wrong it was that Tony Soprano in the TV, they depicted him going to a psychiatrist. No self-respected Italian strong man would go to a psychiatrist and everything. It's vilified in some of the minority communities. You're thought of as weak if you have a mental illness, in some minority cultures and everything. In the Asian cultures, mental health is not talked of because the man's not supposed to have that. He's strong. Right. He's strong like bull in the Italian society and everything. He can't have a mental illness. Well, everybody can have a mental illness. Mental illness is not. It doesn't. Right. Mental illness doesn't pick and choose who can have it.
Well, and we've got to quit ostracizing it. And it's more about it's some of these things. It's just a flat out chemical imbalance in the disease, and this has been going on for decades, right? And generations. This isn't this is a new problem. No. This is not a new issue. We've never done it well. What we've done in the past is run and hide from it, and that's just not going to work.
And I guess I have a little different perspective because I grew up in a household with a mother who was diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic in her mid-20s, right. So I saw it firsthand a lot. I was always worried in the back of my mind that what happens to me at 19, what happens to me at 20, because you hear it's hereditary, and I was like, am I going to spaz out? Is one of my sisters going to lose their mind in their early 20s, because my mother, she could function 90% of the time, 85, 90% of the time. It was that 10% of the time when she would come unhinged that you'd be like, oh God, here we go again. But it was always something that was in the forefront for me, so we never ran from mental illness because we had a person, my mother was mentally ill with paranoid schizophrenia. And I consider, somebody goes, when I talk about it, I go, I was lucky my mom was a paranoid schizophrenic. They go, what the hell did you just say? But it made it where I understand mental illness and the importance of it, of working with it and learning how to be proactive against mental illness. As a society, we're not there yet, and we should have been years ago.
Agreed. And we can't, we got rid of a lot of these institutions that they would be handling at because there was obviously
abuse going on there. Certainly, yeah.
But at least there was a place, right? Now, in order to be into an institution, it takes thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars
a month
to get the help that you need. And if you want to talk about that, let's talk about it, right?
We don't need to go back. We don't need to go back to the. We don't need to go back to the Nurse Ratched days. But we could make public facilities just like we have public hospitals that are fine. Why can't we make public mental hospitals? We have the ability to take care of people with. If you have a heart attack and you go to the hospital, they take care of you long term. They don't just give you a heart surgery and then turn you out. You get. Even if you can't pay for it, if you're indigent, they still set you up with a heart doctor, and they do the heart process, and then you go back for checkups and everything. If you have lung issues, if you're cancer, all that, even if you're indigent, there are different ways out there that you can get help. If you have a mental illness that could lead to something like this happening that happened yesterday, you go to the hospital, they put you on a psychiatric hold for 72 hours, then they just kick you out the door. See you, you're fine, or you're not fine. Here's some medicine. Hope you take it. And they never do follow-ups. There's no with the specialist at their office or anything. And The brain is the most key factor to a functioning life, and yet we don't do anything for it. We go, look, if your heart was going, if you needed bypass surgery, we'd bring you in here, we'd bring a heart specialist in, we'd cut your chest open, we'd fix all your valves, we'd do whatever you need. Oh wait, you're hearing voices and people are telling you to kill people and well, here's some pills. Hope you take them once we release you.
Right.
It makes no damn sense.
Again, well, I mean, we're spending $50 billion a year on foreign aid. Right?
That's a whole nother issue. That's a whole other issue. We spent $40 billion on the Ukraine. You know what $40 billion would have done to the security of public schools around this country?
Well, and again, security is one thing, but solving the problem is another one.
You know what $40 billion into a slush fund, not a slush fund, but into a fund to help indigent people that have mental health problems. You know how far that would go?
It would go away.
Yeah.
I mean, and again,
no offense to the Ukrainian situation. I understand what's going on, but you know, when you see a tragedy like this, why aren't we every year having Congress put $40 billion aside for the mental health issues in this country? Sure. If they got $40 billion, if they can come up with $40 billion in 2 days to give to Ukraine, why can't they come up with $40 billion every year to give to mental health awareness?
And again, would this make an impact to the homeless issue in the United States?
Of course it would.
Maybe. You never know with homelessness. Homelessness is
but you know that those people those people walking down the street that are homeless, that are having arguments with themselves and throwing things at cars and cussing you while you're sitting at a red light for no apparent reason. It's not because they're mentally stable.
No, that's a fair point, Tom. But again, we've got to come up with a better solution than what we have now for mental illness.
And
mental wellness.
And everybody goes, well, Tom, are you sure this is a mental health issue? He killed 19 children and 2 adults in a school. What the hell else would it be? It wasn't that he had a bad ticker. He wasn't suffering from diabetes.
Sure. Yeah. There's nothing. You can't be right in your mind.
No.
Say, you know what? The solution for all my problems lies in eliminating because his goal obviously was to kill every student there.
My life is so bad. My life is so terrible. At 18, I think I'm going to go buy some rifles, shoot my grandmother, crash my truck into a ditch near elementary school, go inside, shoot 19 elementary students and 2 adult teachers, because that makes all the sense in the world to me. That's a sane decision because of how terrible my life is. Who in their right mind would ever think that was a sane decision?
That's the key part. I mean, he had a nice truck. I don't know what was going on in this kid's life.
Nobody knows yet, and it's going to, there's going to be different stories that come out about who this kid was and all. They're going to talk to students and they're going to talk to neighbors. Oh, we never saw this coming. He seemed like such a nice young man. He wore his pocket protector, and he did math out loud walking up and down the streets, and he seemed normal, except when he stared into our windows like a crazed maniac, and we thought he was going to shoot us. But other than that, we thought he was normal, so we never said anything about that we were concerned about his mental well-being and, or his grandmother's safety. We couldn't be bothered. I think a lot of times, too, not being bothered. People don't want to, in this day and age, if 40 years ago, people go, why didn't this happen 40, 45 years ago? Because people knew each other. People could be bothered to help. Now we as a society can't be bothered. It's not our issue. If he's crazy, he can go be crazy somewhere. Like Jack Nicholson said, go be crazy somewhere else, lady. We're all full up here. That's how people look at it now. Look, that's not our problem until it's your child that's dead.
That's right. No, that's exactly right, Tom. That's exactly right.
I'm so aggravated with how people want to say this, that they immediately went to a Second Amendment issue when this has very little to do with guns and gun violence. It has to do with, the only thing it had to do with gun and gun violence is he used a gun to kill 19 students and 2 adults. this kid was mentally, something was not right with this kid to do that kind of killing, plus his grandmother. I don't care if he used a gun, if he used a dump truck, if he used incendiary devices, a knife, he was mentally unhinged enough, in my opinion, just from the information I have, that whatever weapon he chose or whatever he chose to be a weapon, he was going to use it for destruction because he thought that was his only recourse in life, was that, my life is so terrible, I might as well just make everybody's life around me as terrible as it can be before I die. And it doesn't matter what he used. He could have used a van loaded with, he could have bought fertilizer and diesel fuel, you don't know, and used a van to blow up the school. The weapon is immaterial here to me. To me, it is and you're never going to convince me this kid wasn't mentally deranged. He had to be mentally deranged to do what he did yesterday.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that at all. No doubt. No doubt. And again, I think instead of everybody running to their own corner, we need to figure out, again, to me, root cause of this issue is mental illness.
Yeah.
The gun didn't make this kid go and kill 19 people.
No, the kid used the gun to do that, but the gun didn't go to him and say, "You must pick me up and go kill 19 people."
Exactly right. Exactly right.
The gun did not do that. A station wagon could have done it just as easy. Maybe even easier.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can make that argument for a lot of things. I mean, he could have been Googling and YouTubing how to make a bomb.
Right.
And
what's to stop a crazed maniac like this from getting on say I-4 in the middle of rush hour traffic and driving the wrong way in a dump truck wide open? How many people he gonna kill? There's no telling.
Sure.
We're gonna then we're gonna say, well, no more dump trucks. Can't use dump trucks anymore. Sorry.
Sure. Absolutely.
It's about mental incapacity is what it is about.
That's right.
Before anything else,
right.
It's about a unhinged young man who saw no way or no other recourse but to do this heinous act of murder. And that's because he's got to have some mental problems, because no person that is sane would think the only option I have is to go murder children and adults at a school. No sane person would say, well, what about options today? Oh, I could go get a Dairy Queen and go to the park and see the swans, or no, I think my best recourse is to shoot my grandmother, go to an elementary school, kill 19 kids and 2 adults. That's probably the sane decision for me to make.
Yeah,
said no one ever.
Yeah, that's my only recourse to stop feeling this way, is to don't do this.
Said no one ever.
Yeah. And again, you can put all the laws in the books you want. Not going to stop crazy people from doing stupid
No, by
things.
the way, if you had a law that said he had to be 21 before he could buy a gun, period, in Texas, not just a handgun, doesn't seem to matter, because all the reports are that he had a rifle and a handgun, which means he already had an illegal possession of a gun with the handgun. So, he legally bought the rifles. Yeah, well, he illegally possessed a handgun.
Yeah, I don't think that would have even stopped this.
It wouldn't have.
Right. So, again, find out more. But you know what? Nobody will really care in 3 weeks as to the reason why this happened. We always just seem to gloss over that. 3 weeks from now, when we're done scoring our points,
they don't care. They didn't care within three. They didn't care 3 minutes yesterday what caused this.
That's right.
If they did, they wouldn't have politicized it immediately. Joe Biden wouldn't have went on national television in less than 12 hours after this happened to call for gun control legislation. How about call for mental health evaluation, Joe? How about do that?
Well, deers. How about the when he says the deers don't have Kevlar vests?
Yeah.
Okay.
How about
that? And by the way, that's the kind of rhetoric that doesn't help.
And the NRA yesterday, they have a big event this weekend in Houston. When asked, your event still going to go on? Why wouldn't it? There's no reason for it not to go on. It's even a bigger reason now for it to go on, for us to defend our rights to gun ownership and everything. You know, here's how you answer that question. Is your event still going to go on this weekend? Is your event still going to go on this weekend? Right now, after this tragedy in Texas, we'd rather focus in on the investigation and find out what's happening. We'll worry about our event and make a public statement about our event in a couple days. But right now, our thoughts and prayers go out to the families of loved ones who lost loved ones in the situation today. So both sides politicized it. It wasn't just the Democrats.
You're dead on. Again, everybody runs to their corner and then just lobs bombs. And it doesn't help anything, Tom.
Helps no one. I'm not talking about. I know it eventually has to come back to politics. I understand that. I'm not naive. But can't we at least a 24-hour, maybe a 48-hour mourning moment or something? Where people have a chance to get over the shock or try to deal with the shock, and loved ones can be notified and everything. Before we just immediately say, put on the gloves and let's start fighting. Can't we? Yeah. Can't we have? Isn't there some common decency? Isn't there human decency? Oh, that's right. No, because politics are involved.
Right. Everything's personal.
Fired
right.
Up, brother.
Everything's about me. Everything's about me instead of about, the loss. Right. The loss and how we got to this loss.
I'm fired up. I'll tell you what. That guy last night really aggravated me with the whole body on the picture, and then it just snowballed from there. I've been fired up last night. Fired up last night. It's not been good. Not been good.
I respect that.
And this is an area of the country that, by the way, mainly it's town of 16,000. A lot of Border Patrol agents live in this town. The Border Patrol agent that shot and killed the young man, they said was part of an elite Border Patrol SWAT unit that came to the school in response to the shooting.
I think we'll find out some lessons, and man.
Just as we did, we learned things from Sandy Hook. We learned things from the shooting in South Florida. We'll learn some things from here, but the one thing we don't seem to ever learn is that we need to address mental illness when it comes to these situations. We learn all kind of things. We learned all kind of things about getting more SROs and how to put more fences up and metal detectors and more gun control and everything. But we never seem to understand or have a desire to say what was going on in this person's life. What could we do different to reach people like this guy in the future, so maybe we deter this from happening before he ever takes the step of going to buy a gun, before he ever takes the step of shooting his grandmother. Maybe there are things we can do to recognize that he's an at-risk person, and we can be proactive instead of react with sadness and anger when somebody goes off the hinge like this. Oh, wait, that would make sense. We don't want to do anything that makes sense.
No, you're exactly right, Tom.
It's been a tough,
exactly right.
Tough 12, 15 hours for me, brother. I've been a little aggravated, and so. And by the way, everybody in this country should be as angry as I am, but not about guns. They should be as angry as I am about the process.
That's right. Sure.
That's what you should be angry at, the process. And nobody's angry at the process, and you should be.
Right.
Hey, Galen, I know that we're in dire need for blood because of situations just like this, the tragedy of the car accident that happened down in Summerfield. But this is an everyday occurrence, these kind of tragedies, car accidents, people accidentally cutting themselves with power tools or work-related accidents. So with that in mind, I know we gave you a full 45 seconds to go ahead and give us the non-abbreviated version of where the Bloodmobile is today.
Well, and again, like you said, there's tragedies constantly, and every 2 seconds, somebody in this country needs a blood transfusion, and the only reason they're going to survive is because of that blood transfusion. And so, again, just get out there, give the gift of life, donate blood. One donation can save 3 lives. I don't know what else you're going to do in this world that's going to have a bigger impact than that. So please, just be a part of our community and share yourself and give a little piece of who you are.
Galen, from Life South. Talk to you tomorrow, pal.
All right. Be good, Tom. Thank you.
We'll be right back after this timeout on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
A possible Alaska Airlines strike is looming. This is the last day for pilots to vote on whether to walk out or not. The 3,100-member union says they're looking for better scheduling flexibility and job security. 19 students and at least 2 adults are confirmed dead after a lone 18-year-old gunman walked into a Uvalde, Texas elementary school and opened fire on Tuesday. Robb Elementary School is located about 85 miles west of San Antonio. The shooter was engaged with law enforcement, but he still entered the